Shlok number 4 and 5. Iha ched ashkad bodham prak sharirasya visrasaha tatha sargeshu lokeshu sharirattvaya kalpate yatha darshe tatha atmani yatha swapne tatha pitraloke यथाप्सु परिवददृशे तथा गंधर्वलोके छाया तपयोरिव Brahmaloke. So here in verse number 4 and 5, both these verses, they talk about perceiving the Supreme Self. So in verse number 4, Iha means here and now. Ashakad means one can succeed. Bodham meaning in knowing. Prak sharirasya visrasaha meaning before the shedding of the body, before death. Sargesu means in this manifested world. Sargeshu lokeshu, in this manifested world. Sharirattvaya meaning embodiment, taking another body. Kalpate meaning becoming fit. So there are various translations to this particular verse, and one of the most accepted translation is, if one succeeds, ashakad, if one succeeds in realizing this Supreme Self here and now, meaning in this life, before the death of the body, then his soul gets liberated. Else, he comes into this manifested world, Sargeshu Lokeshu, his soul taking another body. Embodiment here, Sharirattvaya. So his soul will take another body, another lifetime to realize the subtle truth of Brahma. However, there are different translations to this verse. Some of the translations say that if one realizes the Supreme Self before shedding of the body, he will possess such power that he enters into everything. Basically, it means that the individual self will merge with the Supreme Self once liberated. In either of these translations, the verse is telling us that it is very much possible to attain Brahmagyan, the wisdom of realizing the Supreme Self here and now, in this lifetime, before shedding our bodies. It is totally up to us how we want to use this life of ours. In fact, there is a similar verse in Katha Upanishad that says that if one is able to realize the Supreme Self, he has access to everything and unlimited freedom, just like God. But if only he reaches the goal. So coming to verse number 5, Yatha darshe, meaning as, just like. Yatha means just like or as the glass. Tatha Aatmani, similarly in the self, in the mind. Yatha swapne, as in dreams. Swapne meaning dreams. Tatha pitraloke, similarly in the world of ancestors. Pitraloke meaning world of ancestors. Yathapsu, just like the reflection in the water. That's the meaning of Yathapsu. Pariva dadrishe, hazy. Tatha gandharvaloke, similarly in the world of Gandharvs, that is the world of gods. Chaya tapayor, meaning Chaya is shade, Tapayor is light. Just like in Iva, meaning just like in Brahmaloka, in the world of Brahma. So this verse describes how one can experience the Supreme Self in different worlds. Do you remember the verse number 14 we just did in the section 2 of chapter 2? Where it was asked how to realize the Supreme Self. Does it shine itself or in reflection? So this verse partly answers that query. It says that the Supreme Self can be seen as a reflection in a glass, just like a reflection in a glass, not a mirror, in a glass, by a pure mind, or in a dream in the world of ancestors. Or it can just be seen as a hazy reflection in water in the world of gods, or as clearly as shade and light, darkness and light in the world of Brahma. So here in this verse, you can see how the perception and experience of Brahma is changing as we move towards the higher worlds. However, sage Ramanuja describes Yathadarshe not as glass but just like a new moonlight, where you can make out things only dimly and not very clearly. In either of those meanings, whether it's a glass or it's a new moonlight, what this verse is telling us that in our mind, in our intellect, we cannot make out the Supreme Self very clearly. We cannot perceive the Supreme Self very clearly. Why is that so? Because in this manifested world, our individual soul, senses, sense objects, our mind, our body, everything is so mingled with one another that it becomes difficult to separate them and reach the individual soul. So only when this mirror of mind gets clean, and regular meditation helps quicken this process, one can perhaps see the reflection of the Supreme Self. This is what our purpose of life is: to evolve, to clean the mirror of mind, to purify our mind so that we can see and realize the reality, which is the absolute Brahma.